Hi guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to the very first video here on the World of Finance channel, where we talk about pretty much anything that has to do with trading, investing, business, real estate, personal finance, crypto and much more. And if you think that sounds interesting, then please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe or leave me a comment. And on this very first video, we're gonna talk about why it's actually not such a bad idea to start selling your time as a beginning entrepreneur. Now I know this maybe sounds a little bit ridiculous because in so many books you read, don't sell your time. In so many courses you hear, if you want to be successful, then don't sell your time. A famous quote from Warren Buffett says that if you want to become rich, you need to find a way to make money while you sleep, if else you will work until you die. Now they're all right, but in this video I just want to shed a light a little bit on the different side of the story, and once again why it's not bad as a beginning entrepreneur. So please hear me out. So first of all, what do we mean with actually selling your time? Because you can't sell time. Selling your time means that you have a job or a skill that you perform for, let's say, 8, 9 or 10 hours a day. And at the end of the day of the month, you're getting paid based on the amount of hours that you put in. So let's say a lawyer, a virtual assistant, someone who works in a bar, in a call center, you name it. You perform a certain job or skill in an amount of hours, and for those amount of hours, you're getting paid. And that's what we mean with selling your time. And I got a surprise for you, because if you have an employer, you're actually already selling your time. That means that if you work, let's say, 40 hours a week, you donate those 40 hours to your employer, perform a certain skill or job, you're getting paid for it. So unless you're working for yourself, you already are selling your time. So if you don't want to be stuck to a fixed rate per month or per hour, it would only make sense to start up your own business and try to leverage your time as much as you can so that you can get out of the business as much as you can. But starting off a business also comes with a lot of risk, because maybe you need to hire staff, buy products that you can ship, rent a property so that you can store your products in there. Maybe you will have obligations towards investors or banks for loans or all that kind of good stuff. And knowing that 90% of all businesses will eventually fail, this is a sincere risk where you need to think about before starting your business. Because there is a 9 out of 10 chance that you are not going to make it. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you off or talk you into by not starting your business. I just want to be realistic, and the real numbers are that 90% of all businesses do fail. So what is then the eventual risk of failing your business? Maybe you will be left behind with a huge debt, with a bad credit score, or you will lose everything that you already had or already built for. So I'm asking you, why not start a business where you only have to sell your time? And there's actually so much stuff that you can do if you want to start selling off your time as a starting entrepreneur. Think about being a doctor, a lawyer, a VA, a PA, helping someone with administration, start drop shipping, maybe write text, edit photos, or even start a YouTube channel. And as long as it requires only your time, minimum investments and minimum drawdown, I think these 3 ingredients are a great way to start off your own business without having the hustle of all the stuff that I mentioned before, which can cause a huge risk just in case something goes wrong. I think it's just a great way of starting off your own business so that you can get a feel like of what it is of requiring clients, sending invoices, making money, running into problems. And the worst thing that could go wrong by selling your time is maybe that you wasted your time or that an invoice is not getting paid. But because you have no products or no obligations towards anyone else or whatsoever, selling your time actually has a minimum downside. And like I said, all you could do is lose your time, but you can learn so much and you can create so much value for yourself or for someone else. Now, what I've learned over the years is that when people have their own business and things doesn't go as planned, or the business just goes completely down south, is that they start panicking and start doing all kinds of weird stuff that they probably wouldn't have not have done when the business was just running smoothly. So what I'm trying to say is that if that happens in your business when you're only selling your time, the only thing that you could really risk is the time that you invested will not come back. instead of a business that you want to leverage, let's say e-commerce with a lot of products, is that you might have a huge inventory that you cannot get rid of. And I can imagine that maybe can give you sleepless nights, especially when you're just starting off your business and invested all your hard-earned money in it to get this business running. Now, the only problem that comes with this business model is that most people don't take it serious because there's barely any risk for them. They don't have a financial risk, and the only thing that they could lose is maybe the time they invested in it working for someone else or working on a certain project, where you will be much more committed to making your business succeed if you were much more invested in it. Now, I have a very simple and easy technique and tip for you to avoid this problem. Just set high goals, make them realistic but high, and try to find an accountability partner, someone who keeps you accountable on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, or even better, on a weekly and a monthly basis, so that that person who is non-related to your business can keep you in check and can give you some tip and advice of how to move forward from here and keep you accountable if anything goes wrong. Something that I've seen coming by so many times when people are thinking about working for themselves is how much salary they should ask. And that really depends on where you live in the world and what kind of profession do you have. Because of course a lawyer can ask so much more than maybe a VA can or a tax writer. And a lawyer in New York makes so much more money than maybe a lawyer in India. So if you want to get into this business, here's a simple trick to find out how much money you can make depending on where you live. Just go to Google, type in salary check or salary checker, and then Google usually actually gives you suggestions about a country. So salary check United States or salary checker India, and then maybe your profession behind it, or websites pop up where you can click on and then you can put in your profession or the things that you want to do, and you see the average salary on that profession per hour, per month, per project. That kind of gives you roughly an idea of what you can ask, and this way you kind of have a starting point. Now, the more experience that you have for, let's say, an employer the previous 10 years in the exact same job, of course you can ask much more money, as you may be working in a bar starting off as a tax writer tomorrow with no experience and just having your first project. You know, you have to kind of build that up. If I hire someone, I would also not pay the highest amount for someone with barely any experience. And I think wherever you are in the world, that kind of makes sense. Just first ask yourself, what do you want to do? How do you want to sell your time? And what kind of profession? Then just Google for the profession, depending on the country where you are, depending on your experience, and kind of trying to find out how much money you can ask per hour, per month, per project, depending on what you're doing. Now, full disclaimer, when I was a beginning entrepreneur, I started off selling off my time. I do not regret it for a minute based on all the arguments that I gave you before. But I have to be honest, you know, being a handful of years in, you will see that you kind of see where the risks are, how you can maybe make more money, make less money, how clients in general think, how you can maybe upsell certain services, and slowly you can maybe move then to a business or a service where you can leverage your time more and more and more. But it's wise to do so after you kind of have that financial base where you can fall back on, or that client base that just brings in that money every month so you can pay your bills. And that way you kind of make yourself a financial cushion just in case anything goes wrong during that transition of going by selling your time more towards leveraging your time as much as possible, where you might most likely need to change your business model just a little bit. Now, an important note that I want to make is that if you think about starting off your business, selling your time, then please do something that you like, because you're going to spend a lot of time and a lot of hours doing this. So if you're only doing this just to get rid of your job, or just to get rid of your boss, and thinking like, oh, well, then I'm just selling my time and, you know, I'm just do whatever I want to do and I will make some money and pay the bills, you're not going to like it, you're not going to do it for a very long time, and you will most likely end up at that 90% where the business is going to fail. So please take it serious, do something that you like, where you're good at, where your talents are, or maybe where you think is an absolute market for, and if you do so, then you are most likely going to succeed and you will end up at that 10%. Now, I'm not saying that every business should start off selling their time and then just move along, transfer more to a business that's easier to scale, where you can leverage your time much more. Because some businesses you just like doing because of what it does. Let's say a lawyer or a doctor, there are people who do work for themselves and just like what they're doing, and they want to do that for the next 20, 30, 40 years, and they will always sell their time. The last takeaway that I want to give you is that if you have decided what you want to do, try to be the absolute best in your field. Try to be as effective as possible, as efficient as possible, and later on when you have made some money, try to reinvest that money back into the business so you can get even better. So let's say you start off a YouTube channel, then try to buy better camera gear, or you want to be a very effective personal assistant, trying to get a great laptop. And after a while, you will build that financial confidence, that financial cushion that will make you ready to make the next step. And the next step could be hiring people or trying to do your job even more efficient and more effective than you already did, so that you can get paid more by the hour or to get the exact amount of work done in the same amount of time, so that eventually at the end of the month, you keep having more in your pocket. So all in all, I don't think it's bad to sell your time as a beginning entrepreneur because of the downside there is, or the risk there is, by right away start a business, get yourself into debt, getting into all kinds of obligations that you might not going to meet up. And there's always a chance that you maybe don't like the business, and if you then have all kinds of contracts or maybe staff that you rely on and that you then need to try to get rid of or unbind, that can just be a huge hustle. Now, the truth to be told, yes, all those books and seminars and Warren Buffett, yeah, they are right. I mean, if you want to make a lot of money or you want to build up a huge business, then at some point of time, you need to try to leverage your business as much as possible, or trying to scale your business as far as you can to reach those millions or billions, or to make this really big impact or magnitude with your product or services. There's just no other way around it. But the start of your business is kind of this safe way, with just starting off selling off your time with barely any downside or risk. I don't think it's a bad idea. You can always make that transition, or you can always start off this other business that you hadn't in mind where you maybe need more money for. You can also just start off selling your time first for maybe, let's say, a year, 2, 3 years, get the experience, get that money, make that buffer, and then make that leap to that bigger idea that you maybe have where you need much more experience or much more equity for. Now, I'm very curious, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm completely wrong? Should you right away take that leap to the business that you always wanted to start off, although it maybe comes with a lot of risk? Or do you think that starting off selling your time is maybe not a bad idea to get your toes wet into the water that we call entrepreneurship? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious. And also hit that like button, subscribe, or maybe share the video with your friends if you think this is helpful. Now, I know it's maybe a little bit short for the very first video. I hope there will be many more to come, and I will see you in the next one, probably already the day after tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.